wait until a couple of people join, and then we can get started. Awesome, awesome. I can already see a lot of people joining. So welcome everyone. I'm so glad to see so many people joining so fast here on our first live stream for Musiversal Unlimited. We already have 14 people with us, so we can get started and get going. 15 people now. I can see a lot of familiar faces that introduce themselves in our circle community. So if you haven't done that yet, please do. We really want to meet you. We want to talk to you. And this is a community, so we can all create music together and make amazing music together. So feel free to join and to talk and share secrets and knowledge and all that kind of stuff. If you don't know who I am Pedro from Artist Relations here at Musiversal, and I help artists like you to achieve the best at recording with our amazing musicians. And just a little bit of background, I am also a music producer. I used to work in Nashville as a recording engineer, and today I work mainly as a music producer for advertising and podcasts. And today I'm joined by Chris Barber, our drummer, amazing drummer here at Musiversal. So, Chris, why don't you introduce yourself to all these amazing people? We already have 20 people. Okay, so people are not listening to you right now, and I'm gonna figure out what's going on. So just 1 second. We're gonna go over our these technical issues that we're running here. No, I think this is on my end. So we're all right. So let's test this again. Can Chris please tell us something?
Check, check. Can you hear me?
Can you guys hear Chris now?
I can actually hear myself, I think, from your end now as well, but it's not the end of the world if we have to do that.
Yeah, well, if I
I
wasn't
just have
able
to
to.
hear myself in double, in stereo.
And how loud is it? Is it bothering you?
Um, it's not too loud actually. It's I can live with it if we need to. I
Okay,
guess as long as when we start recording, if it isn't there, that's probably good.
awesome. So Xav actually said something awesome. Like, if I wasn't able to figure this out, we have over 20 musicians and producers here that could help me with that. So we're actually very lucky.
Someone will know.
So can you introduce yourself again now that people can hear you?
Yes, I'll try my best. Yeah. So yeah, hopefully everyone can hear me this time. I'm Chris. I'm a session drummer based in Sheffield, in England. So this is my studio, and I've been with Musiversal since 2020. So yeah, 3 years, and I've done over 1,000 sessions with them now, which is mad. And yeah, it's been cool. Happy to be here.
Awesome. We're very, very happy that you're here as well. So yeah, Chris has been with us for
Cool.
a while, and actually there are a couple of people here that mentioned that you are the best. So I'm guessing that they have had sessions with you in the past. So that's really, really cool. So today,
Good
just so you
news.
guys
Yeah.
know what we're gonna do, this is the first live stream that we're doing, and the main goal for these live streams are to help you guys to achieve the best out of your Musiversal subscription. So we're going to go over how a Musiversal session works. How can you work that? How can you communicate with the musician? And of course, we're going to demonstrate what a Musiversal session is. So today I brought in a track that I am actually producing for a musician here from Sao Paulo, Brazil. And we need drums on that track. So I sent Chris that track using our platform, of course, and I send him all the information that we have to send whenever we want to record something. So besides sending my tracks and of course BPM and meter and a little bit of a description of what I'm looking for, I also sent a couple of references to this kind of sound that we want to look for. So Chris, can you play something for us so that we can listen to what the track is?
Vou sair por aí, se quiser pode vir comigo. Quero passar mais tempo com você. Se os lugares que eu for você não quiser ir comigo.
Awesome. So it's very, very basic, and of course we have nothing out from using percussion in it. I actually just dropped like a couple of logic loops in there because I don't know how to play drums, and I just wanted to kind of have a feel of what's going. So, Chris, what is your approach when you hear a track like this for the first time, and how do you start? How do you get going?
So I'll probably have a quick listen to the full thing and probably just get, toggle between like the demo drums that you've sent, if any, like the percussion, and then the track as well. Just get an idea of like the structure. So I'll put in some markers in Logic and maybe listen to some references you sent and kind of just get an idea of like what the vibe is really. I think as long as I know like the structure, that's probably the most important to go forward, and then then I can just play through the song and kind of pick up on like what's going on.
Awesome. Sounds great. So just so people can have an idea what kind of, demo drums we can send, can you just play the drums that I put so that people can listen to it?
Yeah.
If you have them there, of
I think
course.
The chorus is probably, yeah. Let me play that for you.
Very complex, right?
Yeah, pretty difficult stuff.
Awesome. So are you ready to get started and let's start recording?
Yeah.
Awesome. Let's do it then.
Do it. So are you able to like mute yourself or something? So because I can hear like the double effect at the minute.
Okay, just 1 minute and I'll figure that out.
Cool. No worries. I'll just play the track whilst we're waiting.
Vou sair por aí, se quiser pode vir comigo. Quero passar mais tempo com você. Se os lugares que eu for você não quiser ir comigo, entendo. Só quero passar mais tempo com você. Vamos dançar sem nos preocupar, antes que a vida venha nos lembrar que amanhã já é segunda-feira. Deixa rolar, vamos ficar desse jeito até você me olhar. E num segundo então você me beija. Quando o sol chegar, eu quero estar contigo no lugar que eu possamos achar tempo para te viver. Que é tão raro te escolher. Quero passar tempo. Vou sair por aí.
So what we can do, Chris, is if I mute you here, people won't be able to listen to you, but you can mute your Chrome tab, and then you won't listen to me, but you don't have to listen to me while we're recording. So you can do that.
Okay. How do I do that on Chrome?
So on this circle tab, you just right click it and you just select mute.
Yeah. Okay, I think I've done that.
Yeah. Probably you can't hear me right now.
Yeah, we're good.
Awesome.
Here we go.
Vou sair por aí, se quiser pode vir comigo. Quero passar mais tempo com você. Se os lugares que eu for você quiser ir comigo, entendo. Só quero passar mais tempo com você. Vamos dançar sem se preocupar, diz que a vida vem nos lembrar E amanhã já é segunda-feira. Deixa rolar, ficar desse jeito até você me olhar. E num segundo, então você me beija. Quando o sol chegar, quero estar com você. Vou sair por aí, se quiser pode vir comigo. Quero passar mais tempo com você. Se os lugares que eu for, você não quiser ir comigo, entendo. Só quero passar mais tempo com você. Vamos dançar sem preocupar. Diz que a vida vem a nos lembrar. E amanhã já é segunda-feira. Deixa rolar, ficar desse jeito até você me olhar. Um segundo, então você me beija. Quando o sol chegar, quero estar com
Yeah, so this is something that happens a lot after one session of Musiversal. The song completely changes and becomes something else, and it's amazing. I absolutely love that feeling. How are you feeling, Chris?
Nice. Yeah, good. I think I just heard the end of that.
Awesome. I see people saying a little bit about a delay that's going on the live stream. And yes, this is happening because you're not actually listening to Chris right now. You're listening to myself listening to Chris, because here at Musiversal, we use a tool called Audio Movers for audio streaming, which allows us to stream audio in a much, much higher quality than any other platform like Zoom or Google Meets or even Circle. It allows us actually to stream the audio in very, very high sample rate WAV quality and not just compressed MP3s. So that makes the audio and the video not sync perfectly. But when it comes to music, we actually want to hear everything. It really doesn't matter that much what we are looking at. But is this delay crazy, or is it bearable for this live stream? How are you guys feeling? And I'm just gonna wait for your responses on the chat box. And meanwhile, Chris, you did an amazing job. This song is like something
cheers.
completely different that I
Got a
was.
good feeling, especially the chorus.
Yeah, the chorus is so fun, and I absolutely love this artist that I'm working with right now. And I just wanted to ask you, in a Musiversal session, we have 30 minutes to experiment with a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And I want to experiment a little bit. So right before the chorus, right after the bridge, so when the bridge is ending, can you do like a little bit of a more exciting fill with the drums, maybe a little bit of a
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that would be awesome.
Like going into the chorus, so maybe the bar before or something.
Yeah, right after when the bridge is ending, maybe one bar
Yeah.
before, just go a little bit crazy and let's see how that sounds.
Like this bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, we can do that.
Awesome.
Anything else you want to try?
I'm trying to think about some new ideas. Do you have any ideas for this track that you would like to try out?
I think when it comes to like the chorus, I think we shouldn't stray too far from the like four on the floor thing because it's like really groovy. But I guess we could maybe move on to the ride, try that, and then I don't know in the verses maybe we could do some cross stick or something. Just to make it more like dynamic, I guess.
Yeah, especially for the second verse, so it can be a little bit different from the first one. It's a very, very straightforward track,
Yeah.
so the details would make it like amazing.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like we don't want to go too crazy, but
Of course.
try some other things.
Awesome.
Should we give it another go?
Yeah, let's do it.
Cool.
Vou sair por aí. Vou sair por aí, se quiser pode vir comigo. Quero passar mais tempo com você. Se os lugares que eu for você não quiser ir comigo, entendo. Só quero passar mais tempo com você. Vamos dançar sem nos preocupar, antes que a vida venha nos lembrar que amanhã já é segunda-feira. Deixa rolar, vamos ficar desse jeito até você me olhar. E num segundo então você me beija. Quando o sol chegar, eu quero estar contigo. De posso achar tempo para te ver. É tão raro te escolher. Vou sair por aí, se quiser pode vir comigo. Quero passar mais tempo com você. Se os lugares que eu for você não quiser ir comigo, entendo. Só quero passar mais tempo com você. Vamos dançar sem nos preocupar, antes que a vida venha nos lembrar que amanhã já é segunda-feira. Deixa rolar, vamos ficar desse jeito até você me olhar. E num segundo então você me beija. Quando o sol chegar, eu quero estar contigo.
That sounded awesome. Absolutely love that. So,
Cheers.
so can we hear the track without you playing? So I guess that will compensate for the delay. So can you just play it a little bit so we can hear the proper quality of the drums? Maybe you can solo the drums and or turn the track a little bit down too.
Yeah, I'll turn the track down a bit.
Olá, vamos ficar desse jeito até você me olhar. E no segundo, então você me beija.
Is that cool?
That sounds awesome. I'm very, very happy with the result. So
Good.
So can you do one thing for me? I'm gonna
Mm.
edit those drums later. So if you could
Right.
maybe hit the snare a couple of times and just record that onto the track. If for any reason I need to substitute one of your hits, that would be awesome. Snare
Yeah,
and
just
the
like
kick
a
drum.
one shot.
Yeah, one shot snare and kick
Yeah.
drum. That would be great.
Cool. Yeah. No worries.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Will that be enough?
Yes, for me that's great. I'm very very happy
Sweet.
with the result, and well, we can move on to. I have actually a couple of questions that I want to ask you, and I'm pretty sure that those will
Yeah.
be very very helpful for people joining here today. But before we go on to that, there is a lot of people. There's some people talking about listening to audio movers right now instead of listening to Circle. If you want to do that, you can just mute this tab here on Google Chrome. So, or if you're listening to Safari, you have that option as well. So you can just right click on the tab and you have the ability to do whatever you want with it. And you just can click mute and you will not listen to this stream. You will only listen to audio movers. I am not thinking of creating a Chris Barber sample drum machine. Zav, don't have to worry about it. I have the real guy here. I don't need a drum machine. But
Yeah.
but yeah, well, this is actually something that I do always whenever I record drums. I have to edit it, and sometimes when you're recording, you just hit one snare a little bit softer, and
Yeah.
you might need to replace that or whatever. So it's useful to have that kind of thing. So in
Yeah, a
that
lot of
kind of
people ask for it, to be honest. Just a
really,
couple of hits. Might as well do it.
yeah, I for with the producers that I've worked with, this is very very common. So
Yeah.
awesome. So moving forward, I would like to hear you talk about a little bit about your setup right there. So I know you have a lot of microphones in your drum kit. You have also a couple of options that when it comes to the actual kit itself. So can you go over
Yeah.
that a little bit?
Yeah, so this is like the main kind of studio kit, so DW collectors, and I've got 3 toms, pretty standard really, like a couple of crashes, China, splash, and then a few different snares. Really, this is the a brass DW one that I use like most of the time. I've got a wooden one as well, and some other options, and then as well cymbals as well. I've got another kit actually that I used to use for Musiversal, but that's kind of my live kit now. But I've also got that as well if anyone really wants me to change the kit. But don't know how doable that is in a 30-minute session.
Awesome. And when it comes to microphones, what kind of miking techniques do you have in your drums right now?
So I've probably got a fairly standard setup, but there's also like a few options you can use. So like there's two on the kick, there's one inside, one outside. I've got three on the snare at the minute. I've got a 57 top and bottom, and then I've also got like a small diaphragm on the top as well, which is, it's really cool to have both them options on the top. Close mics on the toms, hats, and then I've got three overheads at the minute. So I've got a stereo pair of small diaphragms and a 4-on-4 right above my head, which, it just sounds amazing, that mic, like overhead. I've only just started doing that because I used to have it like in the middle of the room, but I had a few phasing issues, and yeah, put it up there, and it's a lot better, I think. And then there's also some stereo rooms as well, right in the corner.
Awesome.
And that's it.
Yeah, this is actually part of the answer of a question that we just got from John Zilber in the chat. He wanted to also explain in details what happens after the session, what kind of files are we going to receive. So goes along with saying how many mics you're using. So you're using about 13 microphones, right?
I think it's 14.
14.
I might be wrong. Let me just double check.
But
it's 14. Yeah, it's because I just added another tom. So I used to have 13, and now it's 14.
Yeah, I'm a musician. I'm not that good at math. So
yeah.
So I would receive every single one of those files. So one WAV file for each one of those microphones for every single thing
and
that
each
you recorded.
take as well. So obviously, like we've just done 2 takes, so you'd get like 28. Trying to do maths again. 28 WAV files, right? Because 2 takes and 14 mics.
And do you usually record like 1 or 2 takes for Musiversal sessions? How many takes can you achieve usually?
Usually 2 or 3. Like if we can get 3 good ones, that'll be a really good session. But a lot of the time, actually, if it's a fairly simple song and the client knows exactly what they want, we might just do 1 or 2. Sometimes it's 1, but I think it's always better to have like a safe option, isn't it?
Oh yeah, definitely. So when I do believe that one concern that a lot of people have when we have a session with a time limit is it enough time to record everything? How is your experience dealing with that? Do you usually have time to experiment and record everything that people want to record? For example, one song that is as long as the one that we just recorded?
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, when I first started this, I was thinking like, how am I going to do a song in 30 minutes, all these takes, and learn it like 20 minutes before the session? But yeah, I've never actually had to. I mean, we've come back to songs just because people have like changed their mind on something, but we always get at least like two or three takes. So yeah, it's surprising really what we can get done.
That is true. Yeah. Well, I remember that I remember my times from Nashville. Musiversal musicians work usually the same way as Nashville session musicians. They are
that's what I've heard
fast,
as well.
so fast. Like you can record a whole album in one day, and it's just crazy.
Yeah.
So it's really fun. So Anwar just asked.
I think it's actually like it's improved my workflow as well. Not just in Musiversal, but doing other sessions as well. Like I'm learning songs like for live sets. I think I've just got better at learning songs quicker, really, which is mad. But yeah, it's cool.
Awesome. So this is actually very interesting. How did your workflow change after you started working? Because you did session work before, right?
Yeah, I did like almost the same thing, but obviously there was no like interaction. It was just done over email. And it definitely always took longer. One of the things that for some reason I never did was like make a Logic template. So as soon as I started doing that already sped everything up, because I can just get the session up in 1 minute and throw the files in and it's all good to go. And I think as another thing is like putting markers in and kind of watching the Logic screen is what I do now that I didn't used to do. I used to kind of try and memorize it. and then record. But now I look at the screen and kind of look what I'm doing as I'm doing it, and that just speeds everything up. Kind of like sight reading, I guess.
That actually makes a lot of sense. If you don't have to
Yeah,
think about remembering how the track goes, you can just look at it.
exactly.
You can focus on doing what you actually want to do with the
Yeah,
drums,
and it
right?
seems to work. Obviously sometimes it's a bit more complex and I can't really see what's going on the screen, but most of the time it's fine.
Well, we just saw that it worked pretty well,
Well,
so
exactly, yeah.
that's great. We have a question from Neil Satin. He,
hmm
as a drummer, for you, what do
Mm.
you prefer to have as an instrument track to record on? So let's say we are starting a song. What kind of instruments do you want to hear, and what is enough for you to start laying down some drums?
I think the biggest thing is, as long as it's in time and I know like what style we're going for, it's usually fine. Because even just sending like MIDI tracks is fine. Sometimes people will just send like a couple of melodies in MIDI, and as long as I've got like a reference, so I know what we're going for, it's all right. But ideally, I guess like guitars and bass, it's always nice to play to the bass, but it's not essential really. So as long as it sounds good and it's kind of in time, and I can play along to it's fine really.
Gotcha. Well, I apologize for sending the track that I sent without editing the time, because I did not use any Musiversal musicians for the guitar. I played it
Okay.
myself, and it was out of time a lot. So,
I was, going in and out a bit, but it was all right.
so, but when it comes to actual, let's say I have a full track with a lot of
Mm.
instruments. Do you have any
Yeah.
preferences regarding the mix? What kind of mix should I send you? Do you want to hear the vocals a lot?
Yeah, so the best thing along is actually people usually send like the track with no vocals and then the track with vocals, but I don't really ever use that. I like to have the vocals in. It's mainly the drums that I like to have separately. So I'd like to have like the MIDI drums on their own, and then literally everything else with no drums, and then I can basically do the mix myself, and you don't have to hear the MIDI drums, and that's it really.
Awesome. So you don't really need to get like every single separated track, like the track for guitars, track for bass.
Nah, that that usually takes more time to set up, and when we get into the session, sometimes like things will have moved somehow or they'll be out of time, and it's happened a lot where people have sent stems and they don't all line up, and obviously I don't really know that because there's sometimes like 10 stems, and then we'll be working on the song, and then I'll be like, oh, something's not right somewhere, like what one of the stems is out but we can't, and that just takes up more time. So just send like 2 or 3 WAV files and that's perfect.
Awesome. This was actually a question by Sautalon. She asked if you want to get the stems for guitar and bass separated, if you want the bounce for
Mm,
everything. So this was actually her question, and it's I
cool.
think it's much easier for everyone just to have one file and maybe one separate one for drums.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
Especially regarding session time, we want to use all the session time to actually record and
Mm,
experiment, right? So you don't
yeah.
want to use that time to set up a
Exactly.
session and to line up all the instruments, because as
Yeah,
Christian
because at the
just
end of the day, the client knows how they want the track to sound. So if they just mix it how they want it to sound and just send that, that's a lot easier than doing the stems and then trying to do a quick mix before we start recording.
yeah, and going back to, because people actually just asked how long usually are sessions, and for Musiversal Unlimited you have 35 minutes of recording in a session, so it's enough time to do a lot of things, but it's also you want to optimize that time as much as you can. So
Yeah.
David just asked, do you like to get a click track, or maybe just information on BPM and you have your own click track there?
Yeah, so it depends. Like, if it's just one tempo and it all syncs up, then just the BPM is fine. But if there's any tempo changes or anything weird going on, then I'd say, yeah, just send a click track just in case. Um, because people sometimes also send a MIDI map, which sometimes works but doesn't always work. It's pretty annoying, doing a MIDI map. So yeah, click track if there's any kind of tempo changes.
Yeah, I have worked a lot with clip tracks, and they never work like we want them to. So
Yeah.
yeah, this is same question as Michael Kanan just asked, is the regarding the metronome. So if you have tempo changes, it's best. If you don't have tempo changes, then it's just fine informing
Yeah.
what BPM that
And,
song
and
is.
as well, send the click like on its own track.
Oh
Because
yeah,
sometimes people send the track with the click on top. So yeah, just do the click separate.
yeah, that is definitely very important. So we have another question from Sal. She just asked if every session has to be on the grid. For example, a cinematic piece that is a little bit more organically timed and doesn't have a very defined tempo going on, like the one that we just recorded. How do you like to work with that? And she imagines it's a little bit more complicated, but how do you go about that?
I think it's usually all right. Obviously, if it's not recorded to a click and it's just like a cinematic piece, so maybe we're doing some cymbal swells or some kind of tom hits. I don't really need like it to be perfectly on the grid. We don't need a click track, as long as I can hear the track well and I know what I'm doing and it's not too difficult, it should be fine really. I guess you could send like a bit more details regarding like the structure. I don't really need like an actual drum chart, but just a basic like structure saying, I don't know, at 1 minute 30, like do some cymbal swells, for example, something like that, some kind of direction.
Awesome. But since you mentioned it, what about drum charts? How do you feel about working with them?
It kind of stresses me out when someone sends like a full drum chart because I'm like, oh, have I got to like read this? I'm not really that good at reading music. I mean, I can do it, but I don't really like to do it whilst I'm recording. So it definitely helps with the structure. That's the main thing, so I can make sure I've got like verse, chorus, everything right. And I guess sometimes if there's a couple of bars of drums written out, that's usually helpful. Or if there's a fill that you want me to do, then yeah, little things like that is always good. But don't worry too much about like a complicated drum chart.
Awesome. I'm scanning the chat right now to see if we have any other questions coming up. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And while we don't have any new questions, I wanted to ask you, Chris, about a little bit of the language that we can use when it comes to drums. I'm not a drummer myself. I only play guitar, and as you guys could notice, a little bit out of tempo as well. So how can I communicate with you? I know the word fill, and this is the one that I used. But if I want you to do a couple of things, what kind of things can I ask you to do in a drum set? And what kind of language do I use to communicate with you?
I guess references are usually a good one if you don't know how to say what you want, but you know how it sounds. Say if you want like I don't know, a John Bonham fill or something, and you don't know how to say it's like I don't know, a triplet fill on the toms, like a John Bonham thing, but you don't know how to say that. Then just say like a Led Zeppelin song or something. That's usually helpful. And yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know really. Yeah, references are usually the easiest way.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, it's usually the way, at least me as a composer, the way that I listen to new stuff and I want to do this in one song. So I think
Yeah.
the best way is doing that. We have questions if we're going to share anything regarding Musiversal Unlimited. So this is our first unlimited webinar that we're doing, and we want you to be prepared and ready to go with a lot of tracks to record when Unlimited is online. It should be online soon, very soon, and we're very excited to have you guys there. We also have questions regarding mixing and finalizing tracks and after the recording is done. And in Musiversal Unlimited, you have the ability to hire a mixing engineer. Enrique is a great music mixing engineer with many Grammys and many awards. and you can actually get him, but he's not included in the membership. You actually pay it separately. We also do have audio editors for the out of tempo guys like me. We have audio editors that can help you not sound as out of tempo. So this is available for people like you. Jade just asked how much is Musiversal Unlimited and can anyone sign up? So you can sign up for the waiting list right now. Musiversal Unlimited is not online as of yet. It's about to be launched, and you can sign up to the wait list. After it's done, it will be $199 a month, and you can get as many recording sessions as you want. Is it possible if we can have an online session with me on pre-production? Oh, thank you very much. I'm flattered. That's awesome. I'm not actually available on Musiversal platform, but we have really, really great producers that can help you with that, and that can help you achieve the sound that you're looking for and see what kind of approaches do you need when it comes to producing your song. Do we have any other questions for Chris? I can see a lot of questions coming in for Musiversal Unlimited, and I'm more than happy to answer them. But I mean, we have a great drummer here. We might as well take advantage of that, right? So you were we are asking if we have vocalists. All right. Oh, I see that Christian is here, and Christian on the chat box will be able to answer you any questions when it comes to Musiversal Unlimited, while me and Chris can talk about drumming. We have still 15 minutes to talk about drums, so we can do that. Cool. Actually, Chris, I wanted to ask you to demonstrate a couple of things for us. I've heard a couple of terms when it comes to drumming that I don't really know how to explain. So can you show me what swing is?
I suppose I can, yeah. I guess I'll do like a straight beat and then I'll do like a swung beat.
Yeah, you can just, if you want to do like a 4/4 thing and just show me what it would sound like if it was swinged, that would be awesome.
Oh, sorry, man. I've put you on mute already.
Okay.
I'll start with like a straight beat.
Awesome.
Hope you didn't say anything important there. Right, so that's obviously the straight one. Then like a swung one would be like a.
Awesome. And when it comes to rushing and dragging, what is that?
Yeah. So that's like kind of playing slightly ahead and slightly behind of the click. So maybe if you're playing like a really fast like punk song, you might want to play a bit ahead of the beat. So just the feel, I guess, would change. So it's not like you're playing out of time, but you just kind of almost rushing it a bit, to make it sound like quicker, more intense. And then the other side of that, like dragging, I think you said, is kind of, again, not playing behind the beat, but if it's like a bit more of a slow, laid back thing, you might want to, just relax a bit and not be like right on the beat, but just ever so slightly back to make it sound more laid back.
Awesome. Sounds great.
If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense, actually. And I never thought about rushing as a punk rock kind of thing, but it makes...
That's just the first thing that came to my head.
Right? It makes a lot of sense.
I guess you'd probably
why.
naturally do that by accident.
We have a question by Sal. She asked if we can book multiple drum sessions for the same song, if it's a piece that needs a bit of extra time to take it section by section. So yes, you can book as many sessions as you want for the same song. But how can we, Chris, maybe identify if more than one session is needed? What are the main clues that we have to see, okay, I might need more than one session for this song?
I guess the first thing would be if it's quite a long song, if it's, I'd say, over like 3 or 4 minutes. If it's like 6, 7 minutes, obviously that's double the amount of time. And then if there's also lots of tempo changes, lots of like tricky fills going on. If there's a lot going on, then it could potentially take longer. But a lot of the time, like there's been times where someone sent me a song and I've kind of listened to it and been like, oh god, this is going to take more than one session, and then we actually get through it. So you never know. It's probably worth trying first.
Awesome. And if whatever song takes more than that, you can just book another session later, right? Awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm not going anywhere, so the kit's going to be the same.
Sounds awesome. Yeah, she is actually thinking about a song that has a lot of tempo changes. So
right, yeah.
probably it's something that would be necessary.
It could be fine, but yeah, I think I'd have to listen to it really.
We have a really good question by Michael Kanan. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your last name wrong, but do you ever find while recording that a song feels or plays better on drums at a different tempo than the one provided? And do you provide that feedback to the songwriter and producer?
I probably wouldn't think to say that, but it has happened before where the client has like realized that we'll start playing, we'll do a take, and then they'll kind of say, "Oh, that feels too quick or too slow," and then yeah, but it's not really something that I would probably say because it's like your song, I guess, unless it's something that's way too quick or something, then I think it maybe sounds too rushed. Then I'd say something. But you could always ask. You could always say, "Can you give me your opinion on this?" And then obviously I will.
Yeah, I think this is really, really good because, well, you're a drumming specialist. So when it comes to opinions for drums, you know much more than I do.
Right.
And I'm looking for
I guess
someone
like
to come
it's about how it feels as well, isn't it? If it feels way too slow or way too quick, then yeah, we have done it in sessions before where we've done a full take and then decided to there and then like speed up the song and do it all again. Like as long as it's doable.
Awesome. So Neil just asked another question. If we want you to really dig into a song, like learn it and then play it from that
Yeah.
place of having it like internalized, would it make sense to book more than one session for the same song? Or does it seem like you're able to do that in a single session?
I could probably do that in a single session. I would say, especially if you've got the unlimited plan, like just book a session and see how it goes, because you might be surprised. But then again, it depends how hard the track is, really.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. And how
Actually, a good thing to do, what I've found in the past is, when we've come back to a song. So maybe if we've say on a Monday, like don't record a song, and then like a week later decided that we want to do it again, it'll always feel a lot better because obviously we've already done it. So that's maybe another option.
Awesome. So yeah, we have that option. You can totally do that. So we have Sal asking again about how long is the wait list, and Christian just mentioned we have 900 waitlisters waiting to join Musiversal Unlimited, which is really cool. And you actually can get into the waitlist and get your place up in the line if you do the tasks that the waitlist gives you. So if you interact with us, if you join our communities, if you share our content, it actually gets you in a better place to join Musiversal earlier. So it doesn't really it doesn't really matter how long it would take, because it can take less time if you interact with us and complete the activities. So Chris, right at the beginning, we were talking about your drum kit a little bit, and I remember at the setup calls that we have for this live stream, you mentioned something about snares and how you can change the sound of a snare in a variety of ways. Could you go over a little bit that, because I think that's just really awesome.
Yeah, that's probably the thing that people ask the most is, like obviously the snare is such an important part of the song, really. And that's another thing that I got better at doing Musiversal, having to change the snare sound so often. So I kind of discovered this thing which is called a big fat snare drum, and it's like a dampening thing really. So if I play the snare without this on, it's like really high pitched and ringy. Which would be good for like a rock song, I guess, or maybe like a funk song. And then if you wanted something a bit more like fat and dead sounding, just throw this on and it sounds like this. So that's like a really quick way to, just change the sound completely. And I've got like 3 of these big fat snare drum things. So that's a way of, without messing with the tuning or anything, that's a quick way of just trying something like in a session. And then I've got another snare drum, but I would always try this first because this usually works. It's really cool.
And how do you go about choosing what kind of sound you want for a song? What is the process to getting that?
What for the sound of the drums?
Yeah, when you hear the song for the first time, how do you decide which way do you want to go for the sound of your drums?
Yeah, so I will always listen to the demo drums first. But obviously, a lot of the time it's just like the standard Logic drummer kit, which is obviously just they all sound the same. So the other thing I'd listen to is kind of if there's any references that they've sent, that's always really helpful. And then just the style of music it is, it's normally fairly, obvious what kind of sound it needs, but it's not always obvious. So yeah, when it's not, references are always a good option.
Awesome. That's really great. So we're coming up on our time and we're almost done with our session. So if you have any
cool.
other questions for Chris, now it's the time. It's now or never. Or, I mean,
it's gone really quick.
It's now, right? Time flies. So you can make this question now,
exactly.
or you can book a session with him whenever Musiversal Unlimited is available, and you can ask as many questions as you want. And I'm sure that Chris will be more than happy to help you out. I hope so.
Yeah, of course.
That's great, Chris. So right before we end this, do you have any cool things about drums that you would like to tell us, or you like to show us? Anything that would be interesting for songwriters that are starting to produce their first songs?
I say like
I know I'm putting you on a spot right here. I'm sorry about that.
The little party trick with the snare drum, but yeah, I don't know really. It's a tough question. I guess there's a lot of little changes like that we can make in just a 30-minute session. So it might seem a bit overwhelming to think that you can get like the exact drum sound that you want in 30 minutes, but I think it's most of the time it's doable. Doing little tricks like that, with the tuning and dampening and stuff. As well, like another thing with the sound of the drums, if you wanted to go for like a really dead, like vintage sound, we could literally just throw like towels on everything and make it just sound really dead. That's another like, quick way to do that. So yeah, I guess keep an open mind and trust the process.
Yeah, the process is really, really fun. And he usually comes up with things that make your song sound something that you didn't even think it could sound like that, but it sounds awesome. I think it's just the funnest
especially
part
in like half an hour.
Right? It's really cool. So I guess we don't have any other questions coming, and I really want to thank everyone that joined us. But I want to thank Chris. Chris, thank you so much for joining us and showing us your amazing talent
you're welcome.
as a drummer
Thank you.
and sharing your
It's been
knowledge
fun.
with us. That's really, really awesome. Thank you.
No worries, man.
And for everyone that joined us tonight, thank you very much. I'm so happy to see that we have a lot of people today. We have right now we have 21 people joining us, and this is really exciting. And I'm excited to see what the next webinars can do. And I'm really excited to see the music that all of these people that are here are going to make with Unlimited. I'm pretty sure that there's some amazing tracks that we're gonna get to listen.
Yes.
So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm so excited for it. So thank you all so much for joining, and I hope I can see you next time in the next webinars. And have a great day, night, or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. Thank you.
Bye bye.